Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Broadcast. I'm Naima Latif, and this is part 4 of a special 6-part series. This is part 5 of a special 6-part series entitled Service: Sharing Earth's Resources, Voluntarily Implementing Creative Exchange. We're bringing this to you as a special opportunity to transform your life so that you may live for free. That means ultimately living without having to spend money. And service stands for sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. It's what we did as a human family before money, and it's what we have the power to create whenever we choose. It's an opportunity for us to return to that which we control. And rather than us paying to live, we're recognizing that all we have to do, which is what we say on the Female Solution every single day, all we have to do is share. The way we live now is creating a perpetual state of anxiety, frustration, and despair. People don't have what they need to live. Something as basic as food, clothing, shelter. Why is that? We are not sharing, and as a result, we suffer. So rather than continue to be responsible for our own suffering, we can simply choose to exchange what we have. And this is not a difficult thing to do. So in this process, as we prepare for the transition that the earth is experiencing, we are guiding you through the process of transformation. In parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, we have simply explained how to create the foundation of what will be a way of life in the very near future. As our economic systems collapse, we're preparing those who are aware to create that which is going to sustain them. Already people are realizing that they must create a different monetary system other than that which has been a source of exclusion for too many. And as long as we are agreeing to a currency that we don't have access to, we'll be in a state of stress and frustration. But if we recognize that at this time, we all have what we need if we simply share, the next step is to create a system of sharing so that we can undo the damage that has come to our society as a result of our lack of sharing. So we're going to once again take a short break to remind you of why it's necessary for us to create something different, because that which we have is hurtful to too many people. And too many are not able to sustain themselves based on how we are allowing people to live outside, people to not have food to eat, people to live out of garbage cans. We're allowing that. Why are we allowing this? Why are we allowing people to suffer when there is more than enough for everyone? Why are we allowing this? And so you have an opportunity to choose. You have an opportunity to create. You have an opportunity to stop the suffering. And this is what we're suggesting. But we want to remind you of those who have been forced to suffer because others have not listened to their pain.
Housing for the homeless, because my little brother, in which we're doing this documentary for, Douglas Robinson, your death will not be in vain.
He was a heck of a great dude. And I love Doug. Doug loved me.
Just being around him, he had a good spirit. He was a healing person.
They are there.
Get SROs back.
When you give to the poor,
should not be forced out of their neighborhoods when it goes through a period of transformation.
Because there are too many people who are losing their homes to taxes because they can't pay a $1,000 tax bill.
Yes, this is the world that we have allowed to be created, where people are suffering, and yet there is so much that goes to waste. So, what we've done in parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 is to remind us that we have always had the power to choose. We've always had the ability to share. We've always had the power to eliminate poverty, which is an artificially created condition. It's artificially created, and it's unnecessary because there is enough for everyone. So we want you to go to the website, theserviceonline.org, which explains the systematic way to begin to prepare yourself for a life in which you are able to get what you need from those people in your group, the 5 people that we've asked you to identify, whom you know, like, and trust, so that ultimately you get that which you pardon me, need for your daily life. Now, many people are currently going through difficulties and they may need a lot. And so we talked about, pardon me, something there. We've talked about how to identify that core group and the importance of people in your group having something that they are able to contribute, because it is intended to be a fair system of exchange. It's intended to be a system that everyone participates in. And it's intended to be a system that empowers all of you to live in a way that is comfortable. So when we consider the first steps and the way that we need to evaluate our own wealth, our own abundance, we also want to evaluate the abundance of those whom we are including in our first service group. Because what we've explained is that first we want to perfect the system that we have created before we add others. And this is important simply because it's based on people that you know, like, and trust. And we've explained this. And so in the process of securing people that you know, like, and trust, you're also considering the character. And we've explained how the way people think is important. The intention of your interaction has to be for the purpose of enhancing each of you. Not how do I beat them? How do I get ahead? How do I get more than they have? That can't be the mindset. Otherwise, you'll always be arguing over who gave more. So we have explained this. And for those who are considering how you go about selecting the people that you're going to include in your service group, we want you to review. Go to the website for the guidelines on how to form this group, evaluate how you're going to interact. And then for part 5, it's all about how you create your service group using the tool that we all have, which is a basic cell phone. And of course, this is your tool of exchange. And it's a simple thing. We've already gotten to the point where we're used to doing transactions using our cell phone. So we're already using systems that we're familiar with. We're already transacting business just using a device. So we take this a step further. And this is how we manage to create something that will help us in the process of transforming the way we live, because we can, in fact, create a moneyless society. So we've talked about how to discover the wealth that you have and categorize it so that these become the things that are your currency that you use with your group of people that you interact with. And because you have recognized the value that you are using, or perhaps not using, you can then make use of all of the things that you possess by circulating them among your friends. And they do likewise. So let's again take a look at a very basic system in order for you to begin the process of living money free. The first thing you're going to do is recognize that you can do this. There's no law that's keeping you from simply sharing with your friends. Empower yourself with a change of mind. The second thing, name the possessions you have but don't use. And there are many. If you think about all of the items that you have stored in boxes, bags, drawers, closets, they're just there. And most people become hoarders after a certain amount of time. The next thing, of course, after you've named these possessions and you've given each thing a point value of 1 point, then you recognize the skills that you can offer to others, all the things that you do that people need done, everything from the most simple sweeping a floor to maybe the most complicated, repairing a motor. If you've got your own tools, of course, you don't have to rely on anybody but yourself. But the things that you do that are skilled, that are valuable. And again, you give yourself a point for each minute of time you use in providing those skills. And the fourth step is identifying 5 friends that you know, like, and trust. And this is an important thing because this is your core group. This is your service group, the foundation of this system. And so now we're going to take a look at how you create your service group phone text chain, because this is how you go about transacting on your phone. And each person from your group, how you identify them, you do it very simply, their initials and their phone number. And these people are going to be the people that you interact with, the people that you are going to exchange with, and the transactions that you record, and the way you keep account of the business that is conducted within the group. So those 5 people, you're going to record them, their initials, their phone numbers, on a text chain that simply says my service group. That's how you begin. Now, it's a simple thing because in the beginning, everybody is going to go through the same process that you went through of identifying their wealth, identifying what they have in terms of possessions, and identifying what they do. So when you are exchanging and there is someone in your group that needs something you have, but they don't have something that you need, then they give you points. And your points are honored by the people in your group as currency. And once again, we have explained that currency is simply something that everyone agrees. Everyone agrees to honor. This is why those first 4 steps are critical, because this is an agreement that if someone in my group wishes to pay for something that I have using points given to them by someone in the group, I honor those points as currency and exchange those points as something of value, just as if they had given me dollar bills. Currency is that which you agree to. The process of creating this group is significant because sometimes they may be old friends, sometimes they may be business associates, sometimes they may be organization members, fraternity, sorority brothers, members of your church or mosque or synagogue. They may be people from your neighborhood. But it's important that this core group, this foundational group, have the kind of integrity to honor each other's points, because there are so many things that people will say. Well, what if people just give points, but they really didn't give anything and they're just doing it to get my stuff? If you have doubts about someone's honesty, then they are not the caliber of person that you can include in this group. It is based on those that you know, like, and trust. And the key word here is trust. Now, on your phone, you will be keeping track of every transaction. Trying not to show you my picture on this phone. You will be keeping track of every transaction. And in the final step, part 6, we're going to show you the actual systematic way that you will exchange and show your transactions. But the first thing is to establish the text chain. It's a simple text chain, and you put in the person in your group, their initials, and their phone number. because each transaction is recorded according to that identity. So that's their service ID, their initials, and their phone number. And it's not going to coincide with anyone else in your phone because, as you know, there are no duplicate phone numbers. A phone number is like an address. That's where you live in the phone system. So in creating this text chain and entitling it my service group, that is where you go. And that is the beginning of your transactions. Now, if you are someone who is highly suspicious of people and their motives, this might be challenging for you. Because if you don't have 5 people that you know, like, and trust, are you ready for a system in which you are truly creating your own currency? There's nobody that you have to get permission from, no complicated systems you have to create, no difficult formulas to remember. None of that. It's based on the integrity that you have as a person and the integrity of the people that are in your group. And this is why, in part 4, we emphasize that if people are still of the mindset that, well, my time is really more valuable than your time because what I do in professional hair braiding is more valuable per hour than what you do in sweeping a floor. If that's the mindset, then they can't be a part of a group in which everyone's time is of equal value because every human being is of equal value. What we're changing is a mindset that says some people are more valuable than others. This is the revolutionary thought that makes it possible to transition to a free society because we're undoing thousands of years of programming. First of all, the programming that says someone has a right to own any parts of the earth when no one does. It is here for free for all of us. And the second thought that must be undone is that some people are of more value than others because they have more money. Money is an artificially created item. It's a means of exchange, and we have allowed it to define people's worth. So that thought, that conditioning has to be undone before you are ready for a system that will free you. And you can create your own freedom, but you cannot do it if your mind is enslaved to a thought that says some people are more valuable than others because of paper symbols that we have chosen to honor as means of exchange. You have to be able to undo the mind conditioning. And when you have done that, you must be able to identify others who have done the same. Because as you exchange points for items or skills, then you must feel good about the exchange, knowing that what you offered enhanced the life of someone else and they enhanced your life. And you were able to do it without exchanging anything other than the points that you exchange using your phone as a means of record keeping. Just like if you send money to somebody on Cash App and you know that it's something that you can do on your phone. You can do that. You hit a button and your bank says that you have sent them money, and then they are able to then go ahead and pay for what they wanted based on you using your phone to send them what we're agreeing is currency. It's the same system. We are empowering ourselves to do that using the points that we are honoring among our group for the things we need. So, since we already know how to exchange value using a phone, how much more powerful is it that we use our own currency that we have created that does not require anything from anybody else in order to enrich and empower each other? And some might ask the question, well, why can't people just trade? I mean, why do we need to do all this? Okay, so are we going to argue that my pair of pants that I'm giving to you is as valuable as the coat you're giving me, or that the set of dishes that I'm giving you is as valuable as the scarf you're giving me, or my taking time to watch your children for 2 hours is as valuable as you taking the time to sew a dress for me? Are we going to argue about those things because of whatever other costs might be involved, or are we just going to simply exchange points, 1 point per minute of time that I spend doing what I do for you, 1 point per minute of time that you spend doing what you do for me, 1 point for each item that we exchange because it's something I wasn't using anyway. So I'm giving it value again by taking it out of the closet or out of the drawer or out of the bag where it was doing nothing but sitting. And now I'm allowing it to generate what is needed in terms of exchange. Especially if I need something from you, but you don't need anything from me, but what you do need is something from one of our other associates on the list. And so, because I give you something, you give me points. You give me something, I give you points. So you give me something, I give you points. You take the points and you spend them with the other associate that has what you need. And they give, and you give them points. And then they spend it with someone else in the group. And everybody gets what they need. And nobody's arguing because everyone has agreed to honor the point system. So the first step is the mind. Undoing the thought that there is an authority somewhere over you that can decide whether or not you have the permission to do this. No one has power over you unless you give it to them. No one has power over you. Remember that. And you can empower yourself. And ultimately, you will, in fact, choose to live for absolutely free. So we're going to take a quick break and come back. And we'll take a look at some of the things you may want to consider as you prepare to establish your service group, and how you can prepare for its growth and expansion based on the selection of these core people that are going to make life easier for you and take you closer to that process of living for free. We'll be right back after this quick break. So we want you to reflect. Think about it. Think about those people that you know, like, and trust. and who you can include as part of your service group. We'll be right back after this break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Welcome to Master Force with Mushim Suit. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Ashada, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken the tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I mean, she could have been here today if you wasn't here. But if you were, it would have been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors. We have nonfiction authors. We have fiction authors. This is really good. And it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I got to work, but I can't help it. Everything going to school. Not just about bring my African shit like this. Bring in the African shit.
What's up, guys? It's Osada, the host of the Gathering of the Griots podcast, part of the Female Solution. Want you to join us every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And guess what we do? We interview authors of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. The books, the experiences, the lifestyles, all of it with fervor. So be there right on the Soulful Chicago Book Fair YouTube page or on the Female Solution Facebook page. We look forward to having you and all our literary essence. Peace.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
And we are back. You are watching part 5 of a 6-part special series. And of course, week after next, we'll be concluding this series. We've just shown you some of the wonderful hosts here on the Female Solution Global Broadcast, which we are here every day, 7 days a week, twice a day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., and again at 7 p.m., and then on Saturdays and Sundays at 12 noon. And all times are Central Time. Of course, wherever you are, you can adjust your time and tune in live or watch us anytime. Simply go to our Facebook or YouTube channel, The Female Solution, Or you can go to our website, thefemalesolution.com, and you can see each host and where you can see the archived shows on their Facebook pages and YouTube channels and other social media. So every day you get some inspirational information, some insights, some wisdom from people who are sharing that which will transform your thought. Freedom first begins in the mind. And in order for you to take advantage of that which is readily available to you, you first must know it exists. The power of your mind is something that no one can take from you. But like any tool, if you don't know how to use it, you don't benefit from it. We seek to empower you by giving you information and empowering you to transform your life by recognizing the greatness within you. And for many, people have been evaluating themselves based on an artificially created system that makes them believe they are of lesser value because they're not holding a symbol of value, a symbol created by others, a symbol that does not designate value, but of course, we've been conditioned to believe that it does. And so, what we do is treat people as if they're important if they're carrying these paper symbols, because the society has chosen to honor them as symbolic of value, symbolic of the value of things. So, what we are simply doing is removing the artificially created symbol and instead choosing to just trade the value according to a point system, according to a point system that we have the power to define. And because we are seizing the power to define it, we don't have to ask anyone's permission. The only thing we have to do is agree. So if you understand what money is symbolic of something's worth, then you can create your own monetary system. And the people that you're trading with, if they honor that system, then you have a monetary system. So that's all we are empowering you to do today. Those core people with whom you are choosing to exchange points with, these people are critical in that what they have, everything that they are contributing to this system of service, they are agreeing to honor a point system that defines its value. So since you all are agreeing, therefore, you're able to exchange what you have using those points as opposed to the paper symbols that others have decided to honor. Now, this is not to say that you will never have to use money. But the intention is that eventually you will not need it, because that service group that you are initially creating, those 5 people are going to ultimately do exactly what you have done. And that is to identify those 5 people that they know, like, and trust, that they can add to their service group. But before you do that, before you add to this group and make this group of you plus 5 is 6 times an additional 25 is what it's going to be when those 5 people add their 5. Before you spread out to that level, you have to perfect the system within yourself. And that means being able to iron out anything that creates a bump in the road, whether it's a disagreement about the timekeeping. If you're going to quibble over, well, no, I spent an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, no, you spent an hour and 10 minutes. If you're going to be arguing over things that make you not agree as to the points you're exchanging, those things have to be ironed out first. You need to have a flawless communication system so that when you add people, you already have a systematic way of ensuring that there is no conflict. What we are building and what you are creating for yourself is a world in which we live in harmony and people simply share. So, in order to create that world that is coming, you have to transition from that money system in which, in your mind, certain people are more valuable, or in your mind, certain tasks are more valuable, or in your mind, certain possessions are more valuable because they have perhaps someone's name brand on them, or whatever artificially created thought exists that makes you pay more for the same thing, as if a pair of shoes that fit your feet are more valuable because they have one person's name on them, as opposed to a pair of shoes that fit your feet that have another person's name on them, when in fact what's really important is that the shoes fit your feet. So undoing the programming that makes you susceptible to the exploitation that you have lived under because of the mental conditioning is a process. So these people that you are selecting will be people who are agreeing to the point system that has been designated, so that you are agreeing when you exchange, whether it's time, doing a service for points, or an item exchange for points. Whatever it is, these are people who you must know, like, and trust to be fair, honest, and have the intention, the desire for your well-being. And this is something that will be tested over time. So you already know how to exchange over a distance. Things that you exchange, money that you exchange, systems of exchange like Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. You already know how to do that, and you do it on your phone all the time using the symbol of dollars. So now you're going to be using the symbol of points. And it's the same process, other than you are agreeing to the value of the points and you are agreeing to exchange them with the people in your group. So when you go through this process, what you'll discover is that you can get a lot of what you need, and money really was not necessary because you've had so many things that you aren't using that others would find value. Others need the things that you're holding on to, and you don't have time to sell them. You wouldn't even take the time because you don't think of them as valuable anymore. And this is why nations like America have become so wasteful. And yet the people that we saw at the beginning of this video living outside, the beginning of this program, the video we saw, the homeless people, the people who have gotten to the point where they have nothing, not even a place to stay. This happens in a nation where there is abundance thrown away. And we don't value those people because they don't have things. So our thinking has to change so that this system that devalues human beings because they don't have things will no longer exist. And in the very near future, it will not exist because our thinking will change and the systems we create will change because they are no longer based on a hierarchy of some people being more valuable than others because others have more things. That will not exist as a way of thinking. So you, all of you who are choosing to participate in a new thought system, are revolutionizing human life by creating something that will change the way we think and interact forever. The earth is free, and so are all of us. And so when we remember that all that is here belongs to all of us to share, then we will simply share. In part 6, we're going to show you how the exchange on your phone will look, how the exchange between you and those 6 people will be transacted on your phone, the simple system of designating the points and trading the points, trading the items, and all the things that will come up in the process that you can handle so that you are comfortable when you add that next group. And those who are part of your core service group will understand the personality qualities, the ethics, the values needed for those who they are entrusting with this very groundbreaking transformation of the way we treat our human family. So we're grateful. Join us Wednesday after next for part 6 of Sharing Earth's Resources, Voluntarily Implementing Creative Exchange, part 6. And until that time, you can simply go to theserviceonline.org and prepare yourself to live under a new system where people simply share so we can all live for free. We'll see you next time. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.